6 months ago, we asked organizations, are you evaluating generative AI today? 50% pretty much no, 50% yes. So we're 50-50. Now this is 6 months ago. My expectations were higher than that. We're not 50-50 anymore. We're probably 60-40 or 70-30 or whatever, okay? But the other question that we asked is when we went over here, we asked organizations, if you look at all of these activities that your organization performs, what do you believe where you can apply generative AI? Are any of these at 100%? No. Do you believe that contract lifecycle management is a place that we can apply generative AI? We had people talking about it. Delta was talking about it. Can we evaluate contracts? Can we summarize what's in those? Absolutely. So what they told me, they told my team, is that we have a lack of awareness in terms of what the capabilities of some of these things are. Because in many of these areas, it should be 100%. It absolutely has an applicability.
Yes, why didn't as that may all and let me sit it.
So what I thought we'd do is just spend a little bit of time just talking about what I believe as you think about developing a case for generative AI in your organization. Now, a lot of this was touched on in different ways, in some of the conversations this morning. But one is, what are the dimensions of value that we can get out of generative AI? And this is a perspective, a framework that you can look at. One is this whole idea of increased productivity. We know there's a set of work out there that will go away as a result of some of these technologies today. And we also know an estimate, and it's not just us, there's other research organizations out there that have done studies that have similar kind of expectations in terms of the impact of this on our organizations in terms of current work. And so we're looking at that. But you as an organization have a choice. Do I eliminate that? Or do I repurpose that labor? My estimation, it's a combination of both. I believe there's going to be organizations going to want to take some of that as a financial benefit to the organization, reduce their operational costs. But there's a number of folks that will be repurposed. The second area is the idea of enabling transformation. Now, we've talked about this. Microsoft is talking about their Copilot. We're using it in our organization. Doing simple things. We're starting to just explore how can we use this as an augmentation to us as advisors in what we do. And so you see this element of augmenting all of your, as professionals, your capabilities with a digital assistant. But at the same time, what does that do for us? Well, one thing, and if I go out to procurement organizations, or I go out to stakeholders, specifically, and I ask them, what do you think about procurement? What do you think is the number one complaint I get back about procurement?
It takes too long.
Too long. It's not that you're not saving enough money, you're not doing all the... It's too slow. This has been going on for ages. One of the opportunities here, in terms of enabling that transformation, is to increasing our velocity, our clock speed, to be more in the cadence of the speed by which the business is operating. That is critical. What are the areas that you're focusing on as an organization to try and improve? The good news is that data and talent were 1 and 2. So we're very aligned in understanding what we have to do as organizations, these enablers. The technology is not going to only work by itself. One of the things I don't hear a lot of talked about is trust. There's trust in a couple of ways. One is you have to, as individuals, have to develop trust between you, that trusted advisor, and the business itself. But there's also a trust that has to occur between you and that technology, that generative AI technology. And there's been some academic research done on this to look at. And if there's one thing that could slow down this accelerated wave of activity that's going on, is we don't trust this technology as humans. Because to get this going, we're going to be in an environment that we're going to be blending human and technology for some period of time. The co-pilot, the digital assistant, however you want to call it, that has to have it. And if that trust breaks down, guess what? It's going to slow down the acceleration of using this technology within our environments. There's another thing that's going to slow it down a little bit, and it's already slowing it down. It's just the concerns around privacy, etc. I mean, I have a lot of organizations that have said, we've had to put a stop on some of this as we sort of sort out what are some of the, how we're going to deal with some of the privacy concerns, etc. within the organization. But as you think about going forward, there's a number of different things that you have to ready as you prepare in going forward with generative AI and AI. And one of the things that you can look, I would say to me the most important is defining the case. It's aligned to your objectives as an organization. Looking at the use cases, I said there's 3 ways and 3 sources of figuring out what those use cases are. And as you go to the last one, are you ready as an organization? And that's when you have to look at your data, you have to look at your people, your talent, you have to also look at the governance as well. Lastly, just a few thoughts, just to give you, and I call it sort of a simple perspectives in terms of guidance. 1, educate. You gotta know this stuff, and that's one of the things that Dawn said on stage. You have to be aware, you have to educate your organization. Just figure out how you're gonna go do that as an organization, staying on top of it. Assess. Where is it gonna bring the greatest value? What you don't want to be building is a toy box. Somebody said that this morning. You don't want to build just a whole bunch of use cases. They have to be aligned to what are you trying to enable the objectives of the business. No different than we've always done. Those rules still apply. Determine, how are you going to find these solutions? There's a number of solutions that are going to be embedded in the existing technology that is out today. Example, Zycus. There's also going to be use cases that may come outside of that as well. Road testing. You're going to start small, then you're going to road test it. And you're going to have to figure out how you scale this and bring these capabilities at scale to your organization. And then lastly, keep up. Things are changing rapidly. A couple of weeks ago, I had the opportunity to speak at ISM, the Institute of Supply Management over in Vegas. And I co-presented with individual Michael DeWitt. He's the CPO of International Procurement in Walmart. And one of the things he mentioned while he was talking about is his operating model. He said, Chris, we're rethinking that operating model every 6 months. There were days, years ago, not too long ago, when we look at operating models and say, all right, you do it, it's good for the next 3 years, next 5 years, etc. That's not the environment. Things are fundamentally, and it's a continuous change, continuous transformational environment. So with that, let's see. I'm walking fast. Thank you.